And welcome back. Distracted driving is one of the top causes of teen car accidents. And according to statistics, 21% of teen car accidents are caused because the driver was using their phone. Now, our next guest wants to put an end to that. So please welcome attorney Jeff Luhrsen from the Luhrsen Group. Welcome.
Thank you.
And, this is a very important subject. Stephanie was just talking about, she is a teen driver. So for many people, they're worried about this with distracting driving. So kind of put it into perspective for us.
Yeah, well, Steph is right to be worried, and so am I. I have a 15-year-old. All parents with teenage drivers really have very good reason to be worried about it. Here's why. Distracted driving, believe it or not, 6 times more dangerous than drunk driving.
Whoa.
Can you believe that? 6 times more dangerous than drunk driving.
And drunk driving is pretty bad. So
it
this
is.
Cool.
77% of young adults say that they're told by adults not to text and drive, not to use their phones and drive, but they see adults do it, quote, all the time.
Mm-hmm. So they think they can.
Yeah,
right.
they absolutely think they can. And here's the worst part, and the reason that I think all parents should be really afraid for their children. 77% of young adults think that they can use their phones and they can do it safely while they're driving.
Mm-hmm.
They just think that they're better at it than the people who get in wrecks.
That's the teen attitude. We're better.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't, I can't.
Well, you mentioned earlier, it isn't just texting and driving. Everyone thinks texting and driving, but it's literally any sort of use of your phone. It could be Bluetooth, it could be this, it could be that. So, what are some of the tips you tell people to tell them so they get the idea to not do it?
It really has to be very black and white in my view, because using a telephone is just as bad whether the device is next to our ear or whether we're using a handheld device. It just doesn't make any difference. And the problem is what? Because if we're on a telephone conversation, I'm thinking about the conversation that you and I are having. I'm not looking at the road. I'm not concentrating on what's going on in front of me. And it gets even worse because after we hang up, think about it. After you hang up from a telephone conversation with somebody, what do you think about?
The conversation still.
Yeah,
What do we just talk about?
Yeah.
Right.
And now what do I need to do? So really, it has to be a very simple black and white rule. When the car is in drive, the phone doesn't get touched. No exceptions. It just doesn't get touched. Not even at traffic lights, because at a red light, what do we know happens with every single red light?
You reach for it.
They change.
It changes. It goes green.
And then I'm guilty.
Right, me too. And we're halfway through a text and the light turns green.
And now I'm doing
I'm just going to finish this one.
Now, you speak of texting. Last year, October 2013, it became illegal to text and drive, but yet, you don't get to be pulled over as often. So people, it hasn't stopped.
Illegal.
So tell me, what's the next step behind that?
Yeah. I say sort of illegal, notionally illegal. It's what we call a secondary law. We used to have it with seatbelts. So let's say I'm driving down the interstate, right? And I've got my hands on the top of my steering wheel, and I'm texting and driving. A highway patrol officer, trooper pulls up right next to me, sees me doing it. Can she pull me over and tell me to knock it off? No. She has to actually wait for me to rear-end the car in front of me, and then she can.
What about like even a swerve, though? If they see any type of erratic driving, can they do it, or do they usually just wait for a big problem?
If they see erratic driving, then yeah, they could actually pull somebody over for that, and they will see it, especially if it's teenagers. Teenagers, because they do text and drive, they spend about 10% of the time that they're on the road outside of their lane.
Oh, wow.
Scary.
That's horrible.
Yeah,
Now,
true story.
You have a campaign that is trying to prevent this. Tell us about the campaign.
Yeah, we do. Several years ago, we started what we call the iPromise campaign. And the idea behind iPromise is not only young drivers, but also their parents make a pledge not to text and drive. And we felt like it really had no chance to change any behavior, save any lives, unless we had the adults buying into it with the young drivers.
Right.
And that's why nobody can be part of the iPromise campaign unless it's the young driver and their parents. And we've been so proud this year. of the participation that we've gotten from high schools. We have 3 student leaders in particular that I'd really like to recognize.
What are their names really quickly, because we got to wrap.
Really quickly. Kaylee Nobles, Booker High School, 187 pledges. Matthew Bonner, Palmetto High, 179. Graham Tedderoff, Lakewood Ranch High, 129 pledges.
Good for them.
Wow,
Still going,
look at that. All right,
still
well,
going and making a difference.
Well, thank
Way
you
to
so
go,
much,
guys.
Jeff. Now, if you want to get more information about the iPromise program, you want to visit the Luhrsen.com. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Luhrsen.com. And then you can make your pledge, too. We'll be right back.